I was raised in the military, so I was a military brat. We traveled all around the world. And the life, if people don't understand the military, you move every 2 to 3 years. So there I am, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Mobile, Alabama, San Angelo, Texas, Hawaii, LA. And I ended up in Belleville, Illinois. Hey, all right, somebody from Belleville, one person. My junior year of high school. And I was there for 2 years, and 3 days before my high school graduation, I get a call. My dad's been rushed to the hospital. He's a pilot. At the age of 42, he had a massive heart attack. And on the way to the hospital, he died. So there I am, and I was daddy's little girl. I was the one that, followed him around. I looked like my dad. They called me, his name was Carl. They called me Little Carly. And I was devastated. And it really, really rocked my world. But then, 2 years later, my mom, who then had moved to Wisconsin and got remarried, and 3 months after she got remarried, her new husband, my stepdad, and my mom were flying from St. Louis to La Crosse, Wisconsin. And he had a plane, and it had pontoons on it. And during the winter, and the pontoons are to land on water. And during the winter, you're supposed to take these pontoons off. He had neglected to do that, and winter storm, the pontoons ice up, and the two of them, the plane goes down, and they crash in a farmer's field. And the plane burst into flames, and they both were killed. So there I am. I'm 19, just going on 20 years old. I'm at a place, you have to remember, this is the early 70s. So this is a time that we had a revolution going on in this country. We had the Vietnam War. We had women's lib. We had a sexual revolution going on. You had rock and roll. You had Woodstock. Things were happening around this country. People were doing, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. As far as college kids, it was a time to live life and explore. And there I was. I remember getting the phone call from my aunt. And I went out to a curb outside, and I just put my head down. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do with my life? What is the reason for even planning or whatever when life can be taken away like this? And I thought, I don't know. I'm so lost. And I went into this deep, crazy depression. And it was just awful. And what happened, and just the way that life has a way of doing this, doors open. You hear this all the time, but I had a boyfriend at the time. He was a football player, and I would go to the track, not because I was an athlete or anything, but I just didn't want to be alone. I was afraid of being alone. And I would go to that track, and I would run a lap, and then I would rest, and then I would run another lap. And pretty soon I started linking these laps together. And what happened is that I noticed that anxiety, that depression, that feeling of being lost, my lack of confidence, just started to lift, even though it was momentary for a bit. And I would keep coming back to the track, and I started running longer and longer distances. And what I realized at that point is, and this was a real light bulb moment for me, because remember, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but in the 70s, we didn't have these kind of Midwest manias. We didn't know this stuff. We didn't know the connection between mind and body. We didn't toss around terms like dopamine and serotonin, and we didn't know about neurogenesis, which creates new brain pathways. We didn't know that stuff, or at least it wasn't public at that time. So I started running, and by the way, just to give the young people perspective, when I started running, the medical association, the MDs said, if you run, you can't get pregnant. Your uterus is going to drop. You're going to have your tits are going to drop, and that might be true. But But the thing is that we didn't have this information. It was a whole new thing. And so I wasn't going out because I wanted to get a tight ass or I wanted to get firmer thighs or whatever. That was kind of like a little bit of a side benefit I noticed. I went out because it was a life and death situation. It was like, and running became my passion. So that's my first game changer. Let me see if I can get into. First game changer, got to find a passion. Because passion is what propels us forward. Passion is like, we all know that feeling when you fall in love. We call it the love diet. Because whenever my girlfriends that are, aren't married, start dating, they always lose 10 or 15 pounds without even thinking about it. Because all you can think about is that person going out, sharing stories, and you're really just passionate. And that passion helps you, what I call, understand the power of why. Why are you doing something? Why are you in this business? Why do you want to create a video? Why do you want to start a club? Why do you want to, whatever your dreams, whatever your goals are, why? And there's just a saying that you have to have a powerful why to take you to the next level. Because this whole thing, it's like, and Sarah can attest to it, it's work. And it is work to get and do what we do. And if you have goals that you want to go after, you have to be so passionate that creates that energy and that momentum. So when it gets a little tough, you keep on going.